I welcome you all into this carving session, and these videos have been made by Dr. Rahul Hazre, and here we are starting with the carving of maxillary central incisor, permanent maxillary central incisor, and here we would be using a larger wax block for better illustration and view. So talking about permanent maxillary central incisor, we first talk about the labial aspect. On the labial aspect, we will be seeing these demarcations. So the right side is the mesial side and the left side is the distal side. Mesial side is having COC towards the mesio-incisal angle and distal is having towards the cervical area. So you'd be grossly cutting the excess wax. Here we are making use of a knife for a better illustration, whereas you have to definitely make use of a carver. So after cutting out the excess wax, here we are. Here the right side is the mesial and the left side is the distal. Coming on to step 2. Here in step 2, what we'll be going to do is, we'll be viewing the tooth from the distal aspect and making up the labial and the lingual area. Left side being the labial area. Here we are making the COC at the junction of the middle and the cervical third. On the right, you can see the lingual area. And this particular area, the lower area, is termed as the cingulum on the lingual aspect. So again, marking out the labial and the lingual area for gross removal, and again making use of a knife. Here you have to definitely make use of a carver, removing the excess wax, accentuating the crest of curvature of the labial, and now moving on to the lingual area, removing the lingual excess wax, giving shape to the cingulum area. And here you go, you can see the COC difference. Lingual COC is much lower as compared to the labial COC. Now I'll be making use of a carver and rounding off the sharp margins and giving a kind of rounded appearance so as to give a more realistic and aesthetic look. On the lingual side, we are now removing excess of the wax to form out a very concave lingual pit and the convex cingulum, and we'll also be thinning out the incisal edge because it's too much thick. Okay. Now we'll be focusing on step 3, which is the occlusal view. In the occlusal view, what you need to remember is that you need to taper the crown towards the cingulum. That is, you would be removing the excess wax on the lingual mesial and the lingual distal aspect. Okay. Now we are giving a finish to the lingual aspect and demarcating the cingulum area. You notice this semi-lunar shape? This is being made to accentuate the cingulum area. Cingulum appears a kind of rounded and raised also. So to give that appeal, we are making this semi-lunar curve. So now what we are doing is we are marking out the mesial marginal ridge and the distal marginal ridge also, along with accentuating the semi-lunar curve which we are given to the cingulum. And we would be removing the excess wax in between the mesial marginal ridge, the distal marginal ridge and the cingulum area, so as to give a more and more concavity on the middle third of the lingual area. So I hope it's evident here how we are creating the mesial and the distal marginal ridges and accentuating the cingulum. Giving finishing to the carved crown, and further we would be giving a more rounded appeal by rounding off the mesio-incisal and the disto-incisal angles along with the concerned margins, so as to give a more realistic kind of a look. Now we will be moving to the carving of the root portion. After demarcating the block area, we move on to step 4 and step 5. In step 4, what we need to do is we need to view the tooth from the labial aspect, a kind of give it a pillar like shape and converge it on the apical area, on the apical third. Whereas on the proximal side, you can see similar thing is being followed and apical convergence is being given. So grossly, what you would be needing to do is that you have to remove the excess wax, and this excess wax should be removed as per the cervical third area of the crown. Just imagine taking a cross section from the cervical third area and how you would be viewing it. Similar kind of illustration needs to be given to the root. You can see after removing the excess, we will be having a pillar like shape and we are converging it towards the apical third area. We are converging it towards the apical third area. Notice here that wax is being removed from the mesiolingual and the distolingual area so as to give a more tapering effect to the root as well. Post gross removal of the wax, we are now giving a finishing by carver and establishing a kind of uniformity between the root and the crown area by running the carver and giving a smooth finish. Notice how Dr. Rahul is giving shape to the apical portion of the root, and post doing that we are giving a finishing scrub altogether to our carving. And now post doing this we will be giving the cervical curve, the cervical line, so as to demarcate the crown and the root. There you have your carver. We are now thinning out the incisal edge and making our cervical line. This cervical line is the distinction between your crown and the root. So since we are making it on a larger wax block, we are taking up greater dimensions. You need to verify your dimensions and apply them to your carving as per the wheelers. Post completion of formation of this cervical line, we will be removing the wax below the cervical line, that is from the root portion, so as to give a kind of accentuation to the crown portion of the tooth. So post completion of the carving, this is how the tooth would look from the proximal, lingual, and the proximal, which is the mesial side, and the labial side. And now you can appreciate the tooth contours a bit better. Then you can see the proximal area, the lingual area. You can notice the mesial and the distal marginal ridge, how well Dr. Rahul has carved that, and the occlusal aspect. On the occlusal aspect, you can appreciate the triangular shape, and this is the labial, distal, and the occlusal aspect.